Thank you, everybody, and just want to let you know I talked to Ed, and Ed said, Doug, it's hot in here, you got 10 minutes. So I don't know that I'll do it that quick, but I promise it will be, and I want to thank everybody, and thank you, Jim, for those kind words, but start out by thanking the membership, and again, this is a presentation. I'm going to let you know kind of where some things are, but a lot of what I'm going to do tonight is thank a lot of people and tell people how much they've grown, how proud I am of them. And tonight's going to be a good night for the co-op. Start out with, when you look at that statement at the bottom, everybody looks at kind of mission statements, and they all sound good. But this one in particular I'm proud of because this was developed by the UDWI team. Remember, we got together as a group, everybody, every lineman, every CSR, and we wordsmithed it and spent a day and came up with this. And every day we try to live this. We fall short sometimes, we absolutely do, but we try to live it. And I think Britt and Shane and Michael in particular would say, lots of times we say, does that improve rural life? That's our number one goal. And if you notice the photos, and there's a lot of photos in here because I'm very proud of my staff, but you notice it's the major areas of our operation, all of which are excellent and I'm very proud of. Here again is our team. You notice Michael there at the computer. He's there like 14 hours a day. We just send him a few little breadcrumbs every now and then for lunch. We don't let him leave there very, very often, but Michael's fantastic. And you go across and the board there and you see our group. I want to really point out in the right top corner, that's our HHM crew. And I can't tell you how many great notes I get from members about the difference in our right-of-way. And a clean right-of-way equals better reliability. So they're doing a fantastic job, very proud of them, and I wanted to make sure that we talked about them. I won't go over all these. We talked about it a lot. Reliability and affordability are the two most important things when you look at a utility. And my team has done a great job. And particularly when you talk about reliability, you have people like, I'm very blessed to have Shane Smith, who is he's a professional engineer, an electrical engineer, and an MBA, most importantly, from Xavier, right? And I want to warn everybody that I found a new skill of his recently. He is a great marketer. You may not look at him that way, but he's actually very slick. So he could sell, we'll use ice to Eskimos or whatever term you want to use. But Shane's getting fantastic at economic development. Obviously, we're going to continue to improve service to our members. When I came here, I think you may remember, we did a customer service study, and customer service score that was done, and we had the lowest score in the country. And since we've been here over the last 7 years, we've gone from that to we're right up near the national average. And no co-op in the country has improved as much as UDWI. And that's because of people like Britt and Miller. You might look at her back there. And remember, her picture was in the paper here recently because of her promotion. But you notice that picture made her look taller. But we're really, really proud of her, and that's something that we're going to continue to do. Obviously, invest in our team members. Nobody trains as much as we do. Nobody does more safety. Nobody does more skills training. It's important. We live it every day. And obviously, you can imagine that the factors of inflation are really hitting everything that we do, from materials, transformers, breakers, you name it. Everything's gone up, and gone up far greater than the rate of inflation. What we do, how do we offset some of that, because we can't offset all of it, is we run this like a tight business. We do a good job, and we're always looking to be as smart as we can with the money, and I'm really proud of my staff for being able to do that. Accomplishments. We always point out that why do we do so much tree trimming? We spend over $4 million a year on vegetation management. I'll give you an idea of that. If you're averaging about 16 cents on your utility bill, about a penny of that is for tree trimming. And that's, we've really put a lot of money and time into it. Here's amazing, think about this. Since we moved, we went, was about 3 years ago now, Shane, we went to the new ACRT standards. And what we did is we looked at our system, and when I came in, I think it was the first day, I said, Shane, what kind of tree trimming cycle are we on? And he looked at me and he kind of looked down at the ground. He said, I don't know, probably 15 to 20 years, which is completely unacceptable. So what we did is we went out and we got some of the best tree trimming experts in the country come in, audit our system, come up with a plan, and we've been following that plan. And I'm proud to say that late this year, early next year, we will have completed one full trim cycle while I was here. Now, I think the board would say there's no way we thought that could happen. And just about every day we get a call or we get an email, people talking about how much better the right-of-way works. You talk to linemen, it's quicker, it's safer. We're making huge progress there. Couldn't be more proud of my HHM crew and the leaders that put it together. And I want to do a shout out there to Robert Gose, who's not here, but he's done a fantastic job. And Shane was right with me shoulder to shoulder. And that's something you'll hear right away. Everything that we've done here, we've been able to do it shoulder to shoulder. It's been a total team effort. It's only going to get better in the future. And by the way, I want to point out, think of that. They cleared 380 miles of line last year. Isn't that amazing? And don't know the stat, but I bet that 380 miles of line would have been several years in the old cycle. So, and you could see before and after. Line improvements, obviously we've got an old system. We've made some progress, but we need to do a lot more. Imagine, and that, if I remember right, that pole wasn't very old, was it? No. And we run into that quite a bit. In fact, I was talking to you about the shape poles are in. We do surveys, and we test, I think, 1/10 of our system each year is about that. You could never, it's hard to keep up with just the normal wear and tear. Last year we did 500 poles, but look at that. If you combine what we rebuilt to build new line, we did over 20 miles last year. And I know when I came, I looked at, I think the previous 5 years prior to when I came, I think we did 5 miles. So it shows some of now we need to do more, but it shows just the progress that we're making. Most importantly, at the end of the day, reliability, members experience 16% fewer outages, and that is 100% because of our engineering team, our operations team. They're doing a great job, and you're starting to see the benefit. Safety training, I won't go over that. I think everyone knows how important it is. And last year we had a real passion for training our first responders, because when you think about it, they're out in the worst kinds of weather, to lots of times traffic accidents in the middle of the night, and it's easy to get hurt. So we wanted to go out and talk to those people. And Brett, how many did you do last year? How many?
All the surrounding county sheriff's departments except for collection.
But I mean, you did how many sessions? 8?
Yes.
8 sessions. I mean, and you don't know, when you do these kind of public outreaches, you don't know what life you may save. But we do know that there was a first responder that died. Was it up in Hendricks County?
Yes. That
died from a tragic scene. And we think that had he seen this type of safety program, might be alive today. Here's the newsletter. And by the way, Lydia's back there, so I can give her a compliment without her being able to hit me with anything she throws. But she's very involved and crafted with our crafted communications folks, and they do a great job on the member newsletter. Proud of that. And by the way, thank you, Lydia, for putting all this together tonight too. Our member service team, we did a survey 2 years ago, and one of the questions was we asked our members, how do you want us to contact you? And by far, the overwhelming response was via text. So we've spent a lot of time, and you're probably getting those text alerts. If not, look back to Brett. She's happy to sign you up there. But that's the quickest, easiest way we can get information out. some stats that are pretty overwhelming. I mean, we took over 20,000 calls. During that terrible outage in June, which we'll talk about in a minute, 3,500 calls, but they dispatched, think of that, 1,249 outages last year. Our internal culture. We spent a lot of time and money trying to develop the right culture. When I came here, the culture was not where it needed to be, and it's never going to be where it fully needs to be. And some people had to leave on, kind of left on their own, and we've been able to add some good people, and over time it's made a big difference. And the culture now is one that where we try to help each other, work as teams, and put members first. And again, the good safety program, over 50 safety and job training hours. And you look at transparency, if you look at our website, you'll find our financials, our I-90s, our KRTAs, our meetings, our agenda, and also obviously our bylaws. Need anything else, call. Don't get a lot of calls on that because we try to get everything out. And one of the things that we put out there too, which I know our members appreciate, is we put the HHM financials and the UDWI financials out on the web. They're unaudited, but we do that intra-year. One thing I wanted to talk about is Jim mentioned other co-ops in the state and how we work together. And the June 25th storm, and I know I talked to Bill Bays, who's got 40 years in the business, is that right? And he said it was the worst storm he ever saw. And we brought in outside help from other co-ops, outside contractors. Brett, how many contractors do we have in the field at one time?
Ooh, 6, 7.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
include
I believe I lost count.
yeah. Well, and by the way, Britt can only count the number of fingers and toes she has. So, no, in all seriousness, it was an all hands on deck thing. And I couldn't be more proud. I've got the best line crews in the state of Indiana. They are fantastic. I'm so proud of each and every one of them. What we literally had to do during the storm, they worked so hard, so long, we had to tell some of them, you got to take a break. You got to go home. That's how dedicated they were to get the lights back on. And it was an incredible amount of hours of overtime that they worked. And it wasn't just them. It was our office staff were out with the crews, what we call bird dogging them, showing them around. There wasn't anyone. We had our member service folks come in. Amanda Kraft and Crafted was fantastic, trying to help get messages out to people. But it was an all hands on deck. It was, and it hit not just our area, but it really hit around Bloomington pretty badly too. But imagine that, we had 116 broken poles. And I believe the windstorm, the year prior, we had, how many we have, Shane, 40?
Yeah, it's in the tens.
116. Over 6,000 hours, 117 reports of lines down. And each one of those could be a life and death situation. Over 400 outages. We lost our substations, which we work with our partners from Hoosier on. They had issues as well, and over half our system was out. It was the worst storm ever, but I can tell you that if you looked at how hard we worked and what we're able to overcome was pretty amazing, and it really made me appreciate the dedication that we've got here at UDWI. Here's some of the damage. Isn't that amazing? It's folded up like a Tinker toy. And by the way, damage like this was all over our system. Look at that. That's leaning kind of like Sean used to when he came in after drinking in the Marines, isn't it? Kind of over there to the left. But look at that damage. One thing I want to mention, and I really want to thank Melinda because for her leadership on the community fund. The community fund is for those of you that don't know, is a fund that when you round up your utility bill to the whole dollar, the money goes to the community fund, and then the community fund board gives the money to charities, local charities that ask for it. They do a great job of screening those, and so everyone knows every penny you get, there's no administrative charge, there's nothing. Literally every penny goes directly to the charities. And they did a fantastic job. This is a great picture, Lydia up there. It goes to show you, we try to get, each quarter we try to get a picture of that. But think about last year, $65,000, 37 organizations, and they've already done $17,000 this year. And what Melinda and the group does such a great job of is they try to intentionally spread the money out to our whole service territory and try to help as many people as they can. I know they've got a real priority for helping hungry people and kids, which I believe all our members would agree with. Very proud of them. Economic development, and this has been a huge, huge advancement for UDWI. And all kidding aside, Shane has been a fantastic help on economic development. And right now, can you imagine, we've got 5 projects that are definitely going to happen, probably another 7 that could be larger projects that'll happen. But think of, in this area, 700 jobs, and some of these jobs are paying $100,000 or more. This will absolutely rock this area. And that's all load for Greene County. And Michael and Shane and I were looking at a 10-year financial projection, which I'll bring to the board in a month. But we're looking at maybe a 10%, just off of what signed up, a 10% increase in our sales. And more importantly, improving rural life. Think of the economic multiplier that's going to have in our area, and hopefully additional housing and other things in this area will help schools out. This is huge, and I'm very proud at least this started while I was here. Looking forward, obviously we've got to keep working on our infrastructure. One thing I want to say, we've got a fantastic partner in Mainstream. I'll be talking about them a little bit more in a few seconds. But what we've done is, as a co-op and the board, is we've made a full commitment to, in the next probably 3 to 4 years, to basically dedicate ourselves to what we call Make Ready, which is literally what it sounds like, making our electrical system ready to have fiber attached to it. And so it's all hands on deck, all resources. So it's going to be neat. Imagine the impact to rural life when you bring high-speed broadband to this area. It's going to, I read a statistic, and Troy probably knows it better than I do, but when a rural property has broadband access, the value goes up $15,000 on average. So that's it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a game changer. And the partnership that we've got with Mainstream really said, we both serve rural America. We both want broadband. How do we work together? And we think that we're going to work together, set the best practices that's going to be looked at around the state. And I couldn't do it without folks like Shane, Jonathan Sutton, who's not here, folks like that. And yeah, there's going to be, I want to let everyone know, there's going to be headaches. But it's going to get done, and it's going to change life as we know it. Obviously, supply chain is getting better. It is getting better. But there's still long order times for things like transformers, particularly the larger ones. Have got, again, being able to complete that vegetation management cycle, and then once that's on, we're on about a 5-year cycle, which will be fantastic. And obviously, the second time you go back after it's trimmed out, you're doing a lot more side trimming. It should be quicker, easier. It should be good stuff. And obviously, electrification of the vehicle fleet. Now, honestly, that's coming slower than some of us thought, but it's coming. And we've got, we have quite a few vehicles in our service territory. But the big thing, which is the most exciting thing here at UDWI, this whole area, is economic development. And that's something where our partnership with Hoosier, Kyle and Ben from Hoosier, could you stand up? Oh, sure, they're back there in the back. Thank you. But we have to work in partnership with them. Some of these loads that we're looking at are huge and can be complicated. I know the munitions campus that's being built, you can imagine that by nature of the business they're in, it's got to be pretty secure. So it's kind of a one-off, and Hoosier's been great to work with, and obviously it's going to benefit all of southern Indiana. So it's great for the Hoosier system. This is the exciting part, mainstream. By the way, kind of going back, how this all happened is I was talking to some folks that were part of the Accord group, and they said, you need to call Brian Gabriel. So I thought, okay. I called Brian, and we had a good conversation, and he said, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to send my dad over to talk to you, Mark. And anyway, from that phone call came what really developed into what I believe may be the only partnership of its kind right now in Indiana. And by the way, with our friends from Mainstream stand up. We appreciate them for coming down to visit us. Thank you. But what we're doing is we're trying to work with them in order to help them out on some of the make-ready cost and make that process as easy as possible. We believe strongly that our partnership, along with the investment that Mainstream's already making in our territory, is going to increase the chances of getting that BEAD money, which is a grant money, and what is it, like $830 million, I think, thereabouts, that Indiana gets. So that's part of what we wanted to do. And Mainstream was able to step up, and I give you guys full credit, is they had their own sweat in this, their own equity in this, and started it. And they were the only company that would really do that. And Shane and I went to many places talking to people. And by the way, remember, when you look at UDWI, a lot of people say, UDWI, why do you need to do that? Well, here's the reason. We got to rebuild our system, ladies and gentlemen. Our system needs a lot of work. And Michael and I always say, at the end of the day, you only have one balance sheet. So you can't do both at once. So, but what we're able to do is, I think, leverage, have the best of everything, leverage a lot of what we're doing, and work with Mainstream on it. And so far, it's working out good, and we've got some great ideas to move forward on that. Here's some of the map, and again, Mainstream came through with the idea to build a fiber ring, and they've got about 32 miles built. You can see some of the areas that they're targeting. The loop itself will probably take about 2 years. And again, they stood up and said, we're going to do this with basically their own investment. So that was what was so important. They're very, very optimistic about BEAD money. And when you look at Greene County and our service territory, and BEAD money is awarded for addresses that do not have access to the broadband or very, very limited access. So when you look at our service territory, it's kind of what I like to say, if you shoot arrows and you've got the bullseye, our area is kind of the bullseye of Indiana. We've got so many unserved areas. So that's going to really be a game changer. Now, I heard today that BEAD money is being delayed again, and probably, I'm guessing that's going to be at least delayed till June or July. Yep, unfortunately. Before I end the talk, I wanted to talk about a couple people that, since I've been here, that we've lost. And both of them were first-rate people that loved the co-op with all their heart, and every day lived a life that would make the members proud. Jim Jackson, never met a stranger. He had a super sense of humor, but loved everyone in his district. Everyone knew him. He served Lydia over 30 years on the board. 35 years on the board. Great man. I know he's sorely missed by his family and by us. He was always kind to me, nice to me, and I miss him to this day. When you look at Sophie Haywood, if you look up the definition of class in a dictionary, you'll find her picture. She was that kind of lady. Was very kind to me, very kind to my wife. Can't tell you how much of a difference she made for this co-op. She, in many ways, was a conscience of the co-op. A great lady, died way too young, so we miss her. finally, and I promise I'm almost over, Ed, so I'm not at my limit, but I want to stop and thank a lot of people here because I am retiring here in hopefully July. And want to start by thanking the board and thanking my great staff, people like Shane Smith, looking at Michael Sullivan, looking at Brett Miller. They're the best, and they've been through some hard times, and I think each and one of them would say that the co-op's in a much better position. It's in a great position to succeed in the future, particularly with now that's got some economic development going. That's huge, and we've got fiber going. I mean, I think if the board would have asked me 7 years ago if we could have done that, I said no way. But we're able to do it, and please let everyone know that it wasn't about me. It was about people like Brett, Michael, Shane, Jonathan, and the best part of the job was to see the growth in people like them. When Brett came, she was a dispatcher, and she jumped in and she cleaned up a mess, and she got things going. And I talked to her and about going back to college, and she did, and did well. And then she asked me about a master's degree. So to see her growth was awesome. Michael, man, I can't tell you the amount of pride and respect I have for you and what you did. Michael stood up in tough times, always doing the right thing, holding people accountable. His dedication to the co-op, his work ethic are second to none. And Shane's my right hand in every way, and the amount of respect that I've got for his knowledge, his dedication is huge. But I think sometimes we've done some things, and Shane's probably said, "How's that crazy guy going to get it done?" But we did, didn't we, Shane? And I appreciate that more than I can tell you. And I look around, I see people like Amanda Kraft, fantastic to work with, has been a huge help to me, thank you. And Jim Budenbaum, who's seen us through some strange things, but also some really cool things. But again, don't want to miss anybody. And by the way, again, thank you, Lydia, for all that you do. I greatly appreciate it. But most importantly, I'd like to thank the best lady that I've ever been around, and that's my wife of 38 years. You know, it's hard to think she put up with me for 38 years, but she did, and I look forward to spending the rest of my life with her. You can imagine at 55, when I took this job, a lot of people said I was crazy. By the way, they were right, but she believed in me and helped me, and I appreciate it. And I promise you, we're going to have a good time. And UDWI next year is going to go further, do more than it's ever done, and that's what I'm the most proud about. So, thank you to everybody, and sorry, Tim.
I didn't know I was going to get up, but I'm going to do anything. Doug, I agree with everything you've said tonight, and except one, I thought Rick the normal height in that picture.
Yeah.
Looked like ET, so I'm just
Yeah, that's true.
So, I was part of the board in 2017 when we hired you and Jimmy Jack and all the crew and everybody. We all knew that you were the guy for the job. You stood out, so.
Thank you.
You've exceeded. I agree with everything you've said today, and all the way down to the fiber and stuff. So I just wanted to tell you, you left us better than you found us.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. And thank you, everybody. Meeting's over. Have a good night. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.